Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a sports betting perspective. With pro handicappers Alex B. Smith and veteran sports writer Jimmy Murphy. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. It is Monday, February the 7th. We are back from the All-Star break, refreshed, revitalized, and ready for the push to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Absolutely is basically starting right now as we're down to the home stretch now in the regular season. We still got a lot to go, though. There's like half the season still. The trade deadline's been pushed back a little bit because of the schedule being a little bit altered this year. But we still have plenty of regular season hockey, and we're looking forward to it. Andrew McInnis with me. I'm Ian Cameron. We'll have Jimmy Murphy momentarily, hopefully with us as well, as we are ready to get things going. Once again in the National Hockey League, we have two games coming out of the All-Star break for this Monday card. I believe both of them rescheduled. It was part of that deal where the NHL was canceling some Canadian teams' home games earlier in the season, so that they could try to get at least some people in the crowd later on. Otherwise, I don't think we would have had games today. So these are two rescheduled matchups here: New Jersey, Ottawa, Carolina, Toronto. Of course, we will break those down in just a second. Happy to have everybody back. We're going to talk All-Star game. We won't miss out on that opportunity to talk at least a little bit about what transpired briefly, but mostly for me to rip on it, to be quite honest with you. But nevertheless, I do want to mention a couple things about the show. Obviously, now we're going to be back 7 days a week pretty much for the rest of the season. We're looking forward, by the way, I guess you could call this an announcement of sorts. We're going to have our man from Latvia as a regular weekend contributor to the show moving forward, Rinas Vitalins, who's been on a couple of times. So we're looking forward to having him be on the show Saturdays, Sundays throughout the course of the season. Looking forward to that, simply because, as much as I'm totally cool with doing the show on my own Saturdays and Sundays, it's nice to have other people around, and that's going to guarantee the case because Andrew's in and out Saturdays and Sundays. Jimmy rarely does weekends because he's got his daughter to take care of, and he's got work as well. Same thing with Alex. He's in and out some on the Saturday, Sunday shows. So this will ensure we've got some people and still a well-rounded panel, if you will, to be on the show on a Saturday and Sunday. We'll have some special guests, by the way, as well, the next couple of Saturdays at least on the show. So excited about that. So terrific stuff there. Vito's done a great
Ian,
job
those days
already.
I miss during the week, especially, I'll try and go on the weekend. Usually I try and make up for it. Like if I have a full week of shows, then I kind of give myself the weekend. If I miss a weekday, I try and make up for it on the weekend.
Yeah, it's okay. But that's exactly why we're really going to be filling the Saturdays and Sundays with special guests moving forward. And of course, Vito's going to be a regular Ice Guys contributor on the air on the weekends moving forward as well. So we'll have the weekends covered, of course, because we're 7 days a week. We don't take days off here on the Ice Guys. All right, let's talk All-Star game this past weekend. The skills competition, really the only thing I want to mention was really Trevor Zegras. That was the highlight of it. It really was pretty cool what he was able to do there. Blindfolded, skating around in circles, puck on his stick, and then he just fires it into the back of the net. Can't even see. He's getting stuff thrown at him, like AKA the Dodgeball movie with Vince Vaughn back in the day. So that was probably the highlight of the skills competition. I didn't mind some of the things they did, the Bellagio event. All right, we're back. I think that was just a little power outage we just had at my place. What can you do? The sometimes the blessing and the curse of doing a show live, but we are back. So we're good to go. Anyway, let's pick it up where we left off. What we were talking, All-Star Weekend. We'll start talking about that. Again, the Trevor Zegras display on the skills competition was outstanding. Him being blindfolded, obviously skating down the ice, shooting the puck in the net was outstanding. I'm not a big thing for these gimmicky events. Fastest skater, shooting at the targets in all four corners of the net. I like the old school stuff, but, basically, when you look at what we saw, I know they wanted to spotlight Las Vegas and the strip and the scenery that Las Vegas provides. And you saw that with the Bellagio doing an event at the Bellagio, doing the shooting at the deck of cards on the strip. To me, it was, like I say, the skills competition is cool to see what these guys can do and show off their ability and their talent. But to me, I just rather than play an actual game. But Trevor Zegras, hats off to him for what he was able to do in the skills competition. It was an incredible display of talent and ability by him. And it was fun to see that take place. And then the game itself, it was what it was, right? It's your typical all-star game, right? It's no physicality. There's no defense. Nobody's blocking shots. It's just basically 1 2-on-1 and one odd man rush and one breakaway after another for about 60 minutes of game time. That's about it. Good saves, obviously some good passing ability, good, obviously playmaking. You see the skill and the talent that these guys have. But, to me, it became crystallized to me this weekend, Andrew, watching not only the All-Star game, but the NFL Pro Bowl. You take hitting and physicality and all that out of these two sports, and it's not as fun to watch. It's not even close. I mean, it is such a big part of what makes hockey such an exciting sport is the physical part of it. You can hit someone, the intensity when you're blocking a shot, you're sacrificing yourself. You're trying to play good, solid defensive hockey. You missed that in the All-Star game, and certainly we didn't see that in the NFL Pro Bowl where you can't even tackle anybody anymore with that. So it just goes to show you how much you miss of the actual game that we know to love when it's taken away a little bit in the All-Star game. You just don't have defense. You don't have anybody making a body contact or body checks or anything like that. So I'm glad the All-Star weekend is over. It's not. There's a couple things you like. You certainly like to see the skill and the talent, and there's an abundance of it in this league. You like to see that on display. But boy, oh boy, it is nice to have that in the rearview mirror. And now we're back to NHL action. And by the way, to the NHL, the last thing you should be thinking of in your meeting, what do we do to make the All-Star game even more entertaining for the fans? The three words Machine Gun Kelly should not come to mind. All right? That was a travesty. All right? This is a guy that was a rapper, wasn't very good to begin with that, and he's become some emo punk rock guy, and he's even worse at that. And someone in the NHL office has said, that'll get the fans all revved up and pumped up for a big All-Star game here in Las Vegas. Let's have Machine Gun Kelly play for this All-Star game. And the place was dead. There's some guy just bored out of his skull watching this guy in the rearview camera during the performance going like this, just looking like that, like just bored as shit, bored stiff. Just couldn't take it, that performance. It was that bad. So, just terrible. And they make a mistake with the musical performers every year in terms of scheduling someone halfway decent. And I'm not someone that rips on new music. I'm more of an older classic rock, classic hip hop, classic 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, those eras of music. But I like some new music. I like some new rock. Hell, I even like some new popular music. Like The Weeknd is phenomenal. I'm not ashamed to admit that. He's absolutely terrific. He's got great lyrics. He tells a story. There's some energy in his music. There's good beats to it, good production, all of that. That's good newer music. Machine Gun Kelly, not the case. And so yeah, they better rethink their musical choices at All-Star games moving forward. That's my diatribe about that. Andrew, just some thoughts overall on this past weekend.
Yeah, I was in and out. I didn't watch all of it by any means. Especially nowadays with like the ability to just hop on YouTube like a half an hour after something happens and watch it that way is definitely something for me. Anyway, I do quite a bit, but I watched a little bit of it. I lost a bet on McDavid to win the fastest skater. I thought even though he was the favorite, still at plus 150, I had to take it. But Alex in the comment section. Glad I got here at the right time to see Ian rip on MGK. What's up, Alex? MG cringe is what I would call it. Yep. But you know what? He is what he is, and he kind of appeals to a certain crowd, and he kind of. I don't know if you saw that picture, Ian, going around social media.
Sure as hell didn't look like he appealed to 20,000 people at T-Mobile Arena on Saturday.
Yeah. You know what killed me though? There was a picture of Connor McDavid and MGK in the locker room after the game, and it looked very similar to McDavid with those fans at the airport, where he just like looked super uncomfortable. And then the top comment was, "What the hell happened to Leon Draisaitl?" Everybody kept on saying that was MGK was Leon Draisaitl. But you know what? I think that one thing that I really learned from watching that, and I had people messaging me about it. And obviously, I'm a younger person, but people are like, "Holy shit! Like the NHL All-Star Game, the average age must be like 23 years old. Like, it's unbelievable. Look at Claude Giroux out there winning the MVP of the All-Star Game. He's got like 20 years on half his teammates. It's unbelievable, really. To see how young the league is. Every single player out there could barely even grow facial hair. It's pretty cool to see. And the 3-on-3. Look, I might be the only person in the world that isn't the biggest fan of 3-on-3. It's fun for like 2 minutes, and then it's like, okay, like this isn't hockey. You know what I mean? Like, like you said, it's pretty much a breakaway challenge for 2 periods is what it is. And I got more excited when I saw some cool saves than I did for anything else. But I'll be completely honest with you, Ian. I did bet it. I've had some good success in the past. I did not do well with it the entire weekend. I didn't bet, a shit ton of events. I didn't bet hardest shot and that kind of stuff. But what I did make money on this weekend was the Olympic women's ice hockey. All different. Yeah, it was
you and everybody else that follows hockey and bets hockey on Twitter, apparently.
But I wasn't just betting the favorites. Everybody else was just betting USA and Canada. But I was getting involved with Japan and China and different things. But so in short, I missed hockey. Obviously, we haven't had hockey since last Wednesday as far as the NHL goes. And I don't know about you, but I kind of like how they're easing into it with just 2 games. So 2 games on tap tonight, Devils and Sens, and the Hurricanes the Leafs. Freddie makes his return to Toronto. So, look forward to it. And, I don't really have any hate against – here's what I'll say about the All-Star game and the All-Star stuff. Because let's be honest, you're kind of giving it the get off my lawn as like the old Morency, right?
Yeah,
and I'm kind of in between where it's like you just kind of have to know what you're getting into now. You know what I mean? Like things change, you know what I mean? So like everybody knows what's going to happen, so we kind of just have to expect it. Like with the Pro Bowl yesterday, we all know there's no tackling and it's getting worse every year. So why complain about it? We already know. Like to me, it makes me laugh when people complain about stuff that we already knew was going to happen. Yeah. Like where's the defense in this All-Star game? Like, did you really expect there to be defense and checking? That's kind of the way I think about it. But I will say I saw I don't know if you remember the goal where Timo Meyer slipped by somebody, and it made me laugh because the defender could have crunched him. Like if he was in a real game, he would have got like the hip check of a lifetime. But these forwards knew they weren't going to get hit. So they were like doing things they never would have usually done, like chipping the puck up and then just going right by the defender. When if they did that in real games, they would get just like destroyed. So I feel like the forwards kind of took advantage of knowing there wasn't going to be any contact.
They did. And zero contact. There was not a single body check recorded in that hockey game whatsoever.
Tom Wilson should have lit somebody up.
Yeah, like someone said on Twitter, we need to get Tom Wilson out on the ice to cross-check Machine Gun Kelly into the boards after that performance. Someone said on Twitter.
I didn't see that.
It was one of the best tweets of the friggin' weekend. Oh, it had me absolute. There was a couple of them that I actually retweeted. It was just that would be one time where they'd actually be cheering him for dirty play. On the ice there. Yeah.
Ian, I've seen YouTube videos. There's a video I watched with, it was like a day with Tom Wilson, him and his son, and with the cup, I think. Yeah. He's actually seems like a great guy.
Like, of course he is. That's what I hear. On the ice, sometimes he turns into a different, persona a little bit.
Yeah.
You just get caught up in the adrenaline and the emotion of the game. And you see someone that's, is a dangerous threat on the other team, and you got a chance to line him up. Whether you say it's borderline or going over the line, he'll make that opportunity to
Yeah.
take advantage of it. But that doesn't mean he's an absolute son of a bitch off the ice. He probably isn't. Most of those guys aren't.
Yeah, for sure. It was funny, the mic'd up where he said to his teammate, I think who was it who was with him? They said, "Yeah, I really just hope I'm glad they didn't announce the names individually. I probably would have gotten booed." And then like 30 seconds later, from the Washington Capitals, and they just all start booing him. I thought that was pretty funny. But he seemed like he had a really fun time.
Yep, he did. Yeah, definitely. He has kept a lower profile this year. You're right. Not as much in the limelight for stuff going on during a game like last year. Was just one for the record books for Tom Wilson. It seemed like there was some incident or some controversy surrounding Tom Wilson every couple of weeks. So he's right. It's been a lot less headlines from a disciplinary standpoint for Tom Wilson so far this year. Let's see if we can maintain some discipline here with this 2-game card. Only 2 games, but we'll see if we can find some edges here. We've got Carolina and Toronto. The Toronto Maple Leafs minus 130, home favorites, 6.5 being the total here in this game. Should be interesting to see how this game plays out with these 2 teams. When you look at it, obviously 2 teams coming into this game or going into the break. I don't think there were 2 teams playing better hockey than both the Carolina Hurricanes and the Toronto Maple Leafs, both of them on a roll. When you look at this game, very interesting, not surprising at all to see Sheldon Keefe give Jack Campbell a break. I mean, he's a guy that was in the All-Star festivities this past weekend. I think it makes sense. Give him a chance to, decompress a little bit, find his way back here to Toronto with his teammates. Because remember, the Leafs practiced yesterday, the ones that weren't in the All-Star weekend festivities. They practiced yesterday. Obviously, Austin Matthews and Jack Campbell wouldn't have been part of that. So definitely it's good to see Jack, rested. You'll give Peter Mrazek a start. I think the fact that Peter Mrazek used to be with Carolina made the decision fairly easy for Sheldon Keefe to say, let's give Mrazek the start here in this game between the Canes and Leafs. And on the other side, it'll be Freddie Anderson, of course, facing his former team, the Toronto Maple Leafs in this game. But what can you say about the way these teams played? I mean, rolling going into the break, playing great hockey. You would expect both of these teams to really want to prove a point here. For Carolina, it was 7-1 in their last 8 games going into the break. For the Leafs, it was 5 straight wins going into the break, punctuated by a 7-1 thrashing over the New Jersey Devils. That was the night we were doing our betcast right before the All-Star break. And I think a lot of us made some kind of coin off that game, whether it was props in that game, whether it was Toronto team total over, whether it was the full game over. I think that game treated Andrew, me, the crew, and a lot of our viewers and listeners very well. So that was good to see that. And by the way, we're going to have the next betcast next week, probably next Tuesday. We haven't officially announced it yet, but probably can expect it to be next Tuesday. And again, the weekly betcasts starting next week. We're definitely looking forward to those here on the Ice Guys. If it's anything like the first one, they're going to be a lot of fun for the rest of the season, and hopefully just as profitable as well. But yeah, this game's interesting to me, Andrew. I guess I'd lean Carolina slightly, but I'm staying off the side, and I've already bet the over in this game. I bet it overnight or late last night because I knew it was going to move. We saw 6. It's gone up to 6.5 here in this game. Where there's no doubt there is that prevailing thought that we're going to see probably some goals in the first day or 2 coming out of the All-Star break, the first games played for a lot of these teams. It's hard to envision something otherwise because we've seen such a strong history of a lot of these first games after some kind of break or respite in the schedule being higher scoring. So it wouldn't surprise me to see that here in this game with the Hurricanes and the Leafs. Mitch Marner to score a goal is certainly something that's on the radar. 7-game goal scoring streak for him, 8 goals, 8 assists in those 7 games. The shots on goal prop has been fantastic if you've been taking that lately. And really, you can trace it back to about a couple of weeks before the break when they're basically saying, come on, Mitch, shoot the puck, man. And I know you got great vision, and I know you're playmaking and you're passing, and you're always wanting to defer to your line mate when you're on the ice and you have the puck on your stick, but you've got an underrated shot and you don't use it enough. And now he is using it, and he's finding out, hey, I'm not bad at this shoot the puck and score goals thing right now for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And like we say, he's on a 7-game goal streak, 8 goals during that time. So certainly got to consider that when it comes to this game tonight between these two teams. But as far as the side and the total goes, just the over for me. I got over 6 minus 120. Even at 6.5 now, I would still endorse it. I think pretty good chance here we see these two teams find the back of the net. And even though there's no Kotkaniemi and Teravainen for Carolina tonight, still more than enough weapons to really trouble the Leafs. Marty Necas is starting to find his footing again offensively. Kind of went through a little bit of a downturn for a bit, but Marty Necas is really starting to heat up again for the Hurricanes. And it goes without saying, Aho, Trocheck, Svechnikov, Niederreiter, they're always a threat to score goals. Don't forget Seth Jarvis, as well, who just keeps on chipping in offensively as well for the Leafs. I mean, it could go a bunch of different ways. Mitch Marner is one of their the riding the hot hand right now, but you've still got Nylander, Matthews to worry about. Jason Spezza has found the back of the goal. Michael Bunting's been awesome lately. There's another one that you might want to consider. Michael Bunting's just feeling it right now before the break as well. So good prop game. I like the game to go over the total as well. Andrew, what do you think here? A good one, Carolina, Toronto.
Yeah, it is a good one. It's kind of funny what the NHL gave us tonight, Ian. One game, next game, pretty good battle. So, Devils, Sens, and then the Leafs and the Hurricanes. Some great storylines as well, like you mentioned, the goaltenders and, goal scoring streak with Mitch and Carolina being at the top of their division. So are the Leafs. They're up there, and pretty much these guys have pretty much close to the same amount of points on the season. They're both up there at the top. I'll tell you, I like the Hurricanes. I already bet them. I like them in this game. Even though it's before the break, I truthfully think that the Maple Leafs, this winning streak that they're on right now, the 5-game win streak, 2 of them were against the Devils, and the Devils just were absolutely horrible against the Maple Leafs, especially in that first one, allowing the comeback. And you look at a couple of the other games they play. I believe it was San Jose. A couple weaker teams down the list. Just to look at my notes here. Yeah, Detroit, Anaheim, the Islanders weren't playing that great of hockey. You look at Carolina. I mean, same thing with them. They haven't defeated like amazing teams recently, but they did play New York. They did play Vegas. And even though it was a couple days ago, it does kind of affect my handicap. Looking at the fact that Toronto, feeling pretty good about themselves, defeated some bad teams, and what way to go into an all-star break than to just beat down the Devils back-to-back times, and all of a sudden Austin Matthews can go have some beers in Las Vegas. I mean, not a bad way to end your first half of the season, but I think Rod Brendamore is going to have his team ready. They're a well-rounded team, and the biggest thing that I like as far as this game goes, Ian, which I think will be the biggest focal point, the Carolina Hurricanes have the number 1 penalty kill in the entire National Hockey League. This Maple Leafs team, dangerous PP. They know how to get it done. They've got snipers all over the ice. Morgan Riley from the point as well. The stats say that Carolina can shut them down from that point. And so, look, I landed on the dog right away in this one. And also, one thing I wanted to mention was, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Ian, I like to look towards road teams after the All-Star break. The reason being, from what I know about these professional athletes and stuff, is that you get back into business mode when you get on the road. If you ever watched a documentary or a YouTube series with team, that's, when you get into business mode. If you're just at home, you're at your family house, you're driving to the rink. If you're on the road, you're on the team charter jet, you're going to team dinners, you're having team film sessions. Everything's a lot more team oriented. So just like a snap of the fingers, this Carolina team, they're back together. They fly into Toronto. I think they're ready to go. And let's not forget, like you said, the Freddie Anderson angle, something I really like. So Mitch Marner, over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 110 is pretty much an auto bet for me right now until they change that -1. If I see a guy getting 7 shots in a game and they give me a minus 110, Ian, sign me up. You mentioned his name. I do believe so anyway. I have bet a goal scorer for tonight, and it's Seth Jarvis at plus 275 at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yeah, Seth Jarvis has definitely been someone that, from the bargain bin standpoint, I remember when he first arrived on the scene in Carolina, and he scored immediately, and I'm like, wow, we better start betting, looking at some ways to maybe get involved here with Seth Jarvis props, and I was getting some plus 400s, plus 450s with him at that time. And boy, right away, he showed you what he was capable of offensively. Now, this year for Carolina, he's been, after a strong year last year, been more of a struggle for him at times this year. But I like that the shots on goal for him, he's getting chances. He did get an assist in the New Jersey game. He had those games in January against the Bruins and Rangers where he scored in back-to-back games. So you are definitely seeing him at least get those opportunities again. And you're getting him obviously at a better price than you'll get, say, Aho and some of the Niederreiter and Svechnikov. You're definitely going to get a better price with a guy like Seth Jarvis.
Yeah, great price there. And I forgot to mention Mrazek, but that certainly plays into it for me. Not getting Campbell's soup. To me, even though he was at the All-Star break, Mrazek hasn't really been the same. I don't know. He's 5-2, has a decent goals against, but a lot of people won't look at who he's played, Ian. And they've given him some layups on the season. And, I've looked into that a little bit, and I think that Carolina will take advantage of him. So, Freddie, hey, what did Brendan Moore say about Frederik Andersen today? He called him consistent. And I think that he'll be consistent tonight against the Leafs. He knows those guys. And the last time these two teams played, Austin Matthews got a goal and Carolina still won. So it's going to take more than just Matthews showing up tonight for the Leafs to beat them. And honestly, a lot of it's just like, give me a plus price with the Hurricanes, which you don't really get often. And I'll take it here in this spot. As far as the total goes, I might be a little bit on the other side just because I really think that Carolina can play a good defensive game, and they've got four lines that can roll. They'll get pucks deep, and the Maple Leafs, I don't think they're going to try and trade goals. They have done better, defensively, being more responsible lately. But I'll tell you what, I think if this game goes over, it's Carolina pushing it over, not Toronto.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I say, 6 was the number I got it at in terms of I'm on. I'll just say it right now. I'm on the over in both games tonight. And it's definitely something that to me it made sense. To me that certainly the next game we'll talk about. There's dicey goaltending with both of those teams as well. Yeah. So very important to keep that in mind going into that next game. And when you look at offensively, both of these teams going into the break, especially Toronto, playing extremely well. And again, that All-Star break. Providing a little bit of just, shaky at the back end, turnovers, sloppy play. We've just seen it consistently in this league the first day or two after an extended break or an extended time off. So, yeah, the Toronto, Carolina, both teams to score in the first period. If there's ever a game, maybe you want to look at that, it's this game at a nice price there, plus 140. You could probably you can get a pretty good. You'll get that probably plus 140 or plus 150. Still a really good price with that. So I would definitely not talk anyone out of making a wager on that prop. Both teams to score first period at plus 140 in that range here between the Canes and the Leafs. All right, next up, we've got the New Jersey Devils and the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa minus 130 home favorites here. 6 the total, 6.5 in some spots. So make sure you shop around when it comes to the total. One thing I wanted to mention about Mrazek, and Andrew brought up that a lot of the games he's faced this year have been on back-to-backs, and they've been against weaker competition. That is definitely true. You look at the schedule for Mrazek. He's faced Ottawa, he's faced Detroit, he's faced Chicago, he's faced Arizona, he's faced the Islanders who've struggled, he's faced Detroit again, and he faced New Jersey, the last time in relief of Campbell. That's a sisters of the poor lineup right there in terms of who he's played in terms of the opposing team. So now you're playing one of the best teams in the NHL. So it is a good test for Mrazek, who's really had all his starts against mediocre to below average teams this year. All right, getting to New Jersey and Ottawa, obviously the big news is Jack Hughes, positive COVID-19 test after participating in the All-Star festivities this weekend, so he won't play. It looks like Dougie Hamilton is still out as well for the Devils, and of course, their top two goalies aren't ready to come back yet either, talking about Mackenzie Blackwood and Jonathan Bernier. So you're looking at either John Gillies or Nico Dawes as your starting goalie. Now, they haven't confirmed who that's going to be. By the way, Lindy Ruff will be back behind the bench for the Devils as well. He was away from the team last week. His father passed away, but he will be back behind the bench for the Devils tonight for this first game following the break. When I look at this matchup, Hughes' loss we know is significant. There's no question. It forces Lindy Ruff to have to shuffle the forward lines a little bit. Looks like on his top line tonight, Nico Hischier is going to move up there and be with Jesper Bratt and Igor Sharangovich on the Devils top line. It's going to be Jesper Boquist, Pavel Zacha, Jimmy Vesey on the second line for New Jersey, Andreas Janssen, Dawson Mercer, Thomas Tatar, the third line, and Yanni Kuokkanen, Michael McLeod, and Nathan Bastian on the fourth line. So the main change is obviously the elevation for Nico Hischier, who's more than capable, obviously. And I think the benefit factor of that is going to be, and this is a prop that I like the most in this game for New Jersey, it's Jesper Bratt. This guy is shooting the puck left and right. He's finally finding the back of the net here. He's getting chances, it seems, every game. He's making an impact every game. He's right where he needs to be. He's getting looks at the net. You look at the last several games for Bratt, going back to January 6th, he has gotten at least 2 shots and more often than not 3 shots on goal in a lot of these games recently. So there's a shot prop I like for New Jersey tonight here is Jesper Bratt over 2.5 shots on goal. I also like Jesper Bratt to score a goal. I've been looking to bet that quite a bit. Now, the last 4 games, he's been held off the score sheet. But when you're talking about a guy that's had 10 shots on goal in the last 4 games combined, don't be fooled by that. Oh, he hasn't scored in 4 games. He's getting the looks. He's getting the chances. He's shooting the puck a lot. At some point, a guy that's playing on the top line tonight for the New Jersey Devils with Hischier and Sharangovich, when you see those kind of stats, you know that eventually you're going to find the back of the net when you keep getting good looks like that, and more likely to get it when you're facing. To Ottawa's credit, they're not terrible defensively, and Matt Murray's been a little bit better lately, but still, opportunities should be there for New Jersey to find the back of the net tonight. And the Devils, certainly, the last time they took the ice before the break, we know what happened. It was a 7-1 beatdown at the hands of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I expect a really spirited, strong effort from the Devils tonight in this game against Ottawa. On the flip side, Ottawa, we know what they're capable of. Ottawa's definitely a team that I like to back them in spots. They did lose 3 of the last 4. Going into the break, they lost to Carolina, Anaheim, and the Islanders. They did upset Edmonton, 3-2 in overtime. And Murray was very good in net. I remember in that game, helping the Senators beat the Edmonton Oilers that night. It was a great game for Timmy Stützle, who'd be the one I'd look at from a prop standpoint for the Ottawa Senators here tonight in this game, especially when you're talking about Norris and Batherson still out for an extended period of time. Tim Stützle has been the guy that's really elevated, in the couple of games since those 2 key players for the Ottawa Senators, Norris and Batherson, have been out. So definitely would consider Stützle props if I'm looking at Ottawa. I'm passing on the side here. I kind of lean New Jersey, but I don't trust their goaltending enough. Whether it's Gillies or whether it's Dawes, they've got real issues in between the pipes right now. I know I'm not laying a price with Ottawa. I like Ottawa as a mid-sized dog or any sort of plus price. I'm interested. Laying a price like this, -135, I'm not interested. And they're 2-5 as a favorite in their last 7 games, the Ottawa Senators. I remember they were -170 against Buffalo at home. They lost. They're still a little bit of a shaky proposition when it comes to laying a price with them as chalk. Ottawa often will rise to the occasion, pull an upset against a team that's pretty good as a big dog. Now they're expected to win, laying a price, and just 2-5 as a favorite their last 7. So I'm not ready to lay a price with Ottawa. Like I said, I'm going to look at some props. Jesper Bratt for New Jersey more than anybody else, and probably Tim Stützle for Ottawa. And I do like the over. I did bet over 6 here at -125. I think you can still see a couple of places where you can get a 6, but for the most part, it's moved to 6.5. Like I say, New Jersey's goaltending just can't be trusted. And if it is Nico, now we know John Gillies has struggled, but if it is Nico Dawes, he had a great start against Buffalo. And then I remember the next start he had, which was against Calgary, he got pulled. He got obliterated in the first period. It was in New Jersey, and Calgary just shelled him in the first period of that game. He got pulled very early. So which Nico Dawes is it going to be? He was very good against Buffalo, but you have to remember who the quality of competition or lack thereof. You were facing Buffalo, and then you got lit up by Calgary. So it's either going to be him or it's going to be John Gillies, who, again, has had a difficult time as well with a 3.43 goals against average, .894 save percentage. We just saw him give up 6 goals in that 7-1 loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the over for me, and I like those props that I mentioned. Andrew, what do you think here? Devils, Senators.
Well, first and foremost, Chris Otto. It was great to, I think, meet him for the first time. I don't know if we had him last time on the Betcast, but either way,
He was,
it was
yep.
great. Yeah, it was great to see him doing his magic live on the show. With his stats and his sheets of paper and the spreadsheets. We have to, shout out the New Jersey Devils' first 10 minutes and the first period overrun with this team right now. It's definitely worth a mention. If you're playing this game, look, you could take the full game as well. It has jumped up to 6.5, or it is 6.5 for the total. So I get it. You're paying a premium for that first period over or first 10. But hey, it's like I was saying earlier, Ian. Sometimes chalk is chalk. But, if I told you something's going to happen like 17 times in a row, but you had to lay some chalk, would you do it? We all probably would. That's kind of the way I see it. So I like that this game to start off quickly. But I did lock in the Senators minus 120 overnight. So obviously the number moved.
You got a better price with them at least than now.
Yeah. It was one of those games where I really did want to take that overnight, which is funny because I told you, I think maybe privately or something like that I haven't really been doing that much. Like the overnight plays, I've been releasing plays a lot later. But I've said this countless times on this show, and I'll say it again. I really do think that the Devils are one of the teams in the league that needs to be at full health. When they lose a player, albeit a player like Jack Hughes, it hurts them big time, like big time. If certain teams in the league, if Tampa Bay lost Stamkos tomorrow for a couple of days, I wouldn't really bat an eye if they're playing a mediocre team. I wouldn't. But you lose Jack Hughes and you lose several shots a game, bunch of ice time, some confidence, you lose chemistry with your lines, all that stuff. Throw in the fact you got a defenseman out. Throw in the fact that you haven't seen Mackenzie Blackwood in nets in how long. And the Ottawa Senators, they're a team that, look back at that OT victory they had against the Oilers. There's just some fight. And I get what you're saying about how they've done well as a dog and in games that nobody thought they would win. But I think they get up for this one, and I think that they get lots of rest. I think that they're ready to go. They're motivated before the All-Star break, and they got to start winning these games against teams they should beat. So I like the Senators here tonight. I've locked in Timmy Stützle to get a point at the DraftKings Sportsbook, minus 135, over 0.5 points. I will say he has been shooting the puck quite a bit. So I wouldn't mind his shots on goal prop, but I do feel like he gets involved tonight on one of the goals and gets me a goal or an assist. And I'm willing to take that safer route, Ian, with the point prop. So that's all I've locked in so far. I will say I found out, I actually had someone text me, a buddy of mine, a couple minutes ago saying, it's been 14 games since Tkachuk scored. And my jaw dropped when I saw that. And over at the DraftKings Sportsbook, it's plus 135 for him to score tonight. So that was kind of the crappy thing, was like the odds aren't very good, but if you took him or Stützle to score a goal, I think one of those two might get it and you're getting, plus money. So, hey, that's just me, but I don't think for a guy that hasn't scored in 14 games, plus 135 is the best value in the world. But I think if you take both those guys, one of them are going to get a point for you or a goal.
Absolutely. And you're right about Stützle's shots on goal. I'd look at that. I'd also look at Connor Brown, who's returning to the lineup for the Ottawa Senators. He's been out for a while, jaw injury, broken jaw, missed the last 10 games. Not only in the top six, which is, no surprise, he's a top six on this team especially, which does lack, in the bottom six forwards a little bit. You expect him to be in the top six, but he's actually going to be on the top line tonight for this Ottawa Senators team based on morning skate line combinations earlier today. So Connor Brown, they've got him slotted with Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk on that top line for the Ottawa Senators. So Connor Brown shots, look at that. And he had 4 in the game before he got hurt. 4 shots on goal. So, and to score a goal as well, Connor Brown. He's right around the same price range as Tim Stützle, plus 210, plus 225 to score a goal. And you can get Jesper Bratt plus 275 to plus 300 to score a goal. And I like his shots on goal prop a lot. In fact, I'm going to foreshadow it for best bets, but I'm actually going player prop for best bet tonight. We'll be getting back to Jesper Bratt in the best bet segment when it's all said and done. All right, great stuff on this Monday show. There's the 2 games on tap for the Monday card: Carolina, Toronto, New Jersey, Ottawa. Tomorrow we'll be back with a much bigger card. We've got 7 games on tap for Tuesday, so looking forward to breaking those down. Before we get to best bets and wrap up the show, we do want to mention Super Bowl week has arrived. The moment we've been waiting for since September is finally here. In honor of the Super Bowl, the big game, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, is giving new customers 56-1 odds on either team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in New York, meaning you can bet from almost a third of the country. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't in your state yet, you can still play DraftKings daily fantasy football contests for Super Bowl 56. New customers can get a free shot at a $1 million top prize with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code THPN, and get 56-1 odds on either team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56. You must be 21 years of age or older. Minimum age and location requirements vary by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full list of requirements and state-specific responsible gaming resources. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN. And as Alex B. Smith says, who's not with us today because we give him a break. He had a long, he had an enjoyable trip if you see all the pictures in Denver. But he had a long trip back from Denver to Minneapolis. So we'll give him a break to, decompress, get his energy back again, and he'll be back with us tomorrow on the Tuesday Ice Guys show. So we'll have Alex back with us on the show tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Also looking forward to Best Bets, our first Best Bet segment post All-Star break. Andrew, what do you like tonight for Best Bet?
Yeah, we're going to go with the Senators. I think it's a good spot for them. I don't like Jack Hughes not being a part of this Devils club. I feel like it really hits them harder than it would a lot of teams, missing one player. And I trust these Senators players right now to get up for games like this that are winnable at home here. Again, don't love the price here at minus 135 now, but I bet it at minus 120, and I'll still recommend it. If you don't, love that right now, you can go ahead and play the -1. You might get a really good number on that, but I really think this is going to, sometimes we used to say must wins, not will win. Well, bouncing back doesn't mean you're always going to. And after getting throttled by the Leafs back-to-back nights, I don't really think anything's going to change here. Give me an Ottawa 5-2 win.
All right, there we go, which makes me happy because I like the over in that game.
That's
Ottawa,
why I did it.
Yeah, minus 135 against New Jersey for Best Bet. Like I say, I like the 2 overs tonight, but I'm going to go with the player prop Best Bet. The juice has climbed. That's disappointing, but I'm going to go with it anyway because I had it selected as my best bet like 2 hours ago when I was starting to get my notes together for the show. Jesper Bratt, New Jersey Devils, over 2.5 shots on goal. It's up to minus 165 now at DraftKings. It was minus 140 earlier, so there's obviously more than just me liking that prop. But obviously this guy is just shooting from anywhere right now. He's getting the looks. He's getting the scoring chances. He's going to be playing on the top line with Hischier and Sharon Govich tonight for the New Jersey Devils. Ample opportunity for Jesper Bratt to find his way to 3+ shots on goal, which is something he has done with regularity in recent weeks. Jesper Bratt, over 2.5 shots on goal for my best bet for this Monday Ice Guys show. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, as well as Saturday and Sunday at noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Andrew McInnis, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Great to have NHL back. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Tuesday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.